Hi, my name is Erica, and this is my March wrap-up.
I just wanted to put a little disclaimer in there. This wrap-up is long. It is long because I read a lot of books in March, because I read a lot of good books in March, so I had stuff to say about them. So settle in. You're going to notice too, my outfit changes, my scenery changes, everything changes. The way I read and finish books, meaning that I read a book and I move on to the next book immediately, and I tend to either put the book on BookMooch, throw it in my niece's book club, or hand it off to a friend. So because of that, I don't always have the books that I finished reading at the end of the month. But I wanted to be able to do a monthly wrap up every month because I find it fun to do that. Because really, I joined BookTubers to talk books because I love talking books. So
the first book that I finished in March is The World of Post Secret by Frank Warren. It was an awesome book. Just as good as any of the other ones. It's beautiful, and it makes you feel like you're part of a giant community. Really good. And this one actually had a lot of stories from Frank, which was really awesome to read. It was really interesting and fun to hear his actual stories and not just see all the secrets that he ends up collecting, because he has a giant mailbox full of them. So it was a really good read. I rated it 5 out of 5. Great. The next book I read in March was Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. This book was amazing. It's the best way to put it. Just amazing. It's inspiring. It's written so well. I really need to read everything Elizabeth Gilbert has written that I can get my hands on, because so good. I think I loved every piece of this. I really, except there was one spot in the last part, the love part, that I was kind of waiting for. It was one of those come on, you know you're gonna get there. But overall, just the way it was written got you through any little slumps you could have with it. This is one of those reads that you have. I know I have every once in a while, a book comes into your life at the right time, where you feel like you're really inspired by it, or you just take something from it where that's my life, that's it right there. There's an entire part of this where because if you don't know about the book itself, this book is it's actually the author's book. It's a memoir, and it's based on that she goes through a really tough divorce, and then she goes through a really difficult breakup, and then it's just this severe unhappiness that she has, and she is trying to get away from, and basically reclaim her happiness and herself and her independence, and if she had any, because she's done nothing but be in relationships and stuff. So she gives up. Well, she basically gives up everything, meaning that she leaves her life for a year and she travels for a year. And I have said forever that it's one of those things. If financially I can do it, I would just travel. I would have a house in only, I don't know, in keeping my stuff, I guess. Being able to go out and travel a lot is something that I've thought about for a long time. And it's one of those things that she literally has a job where she gets to travel and write about it, and that just seems amazing to me. So it's one of those things where I'm reading this book going, oh my god, yes, I want to go to Italy, I want to go to India. Indonesia, I'm not really sure about, although Bali is on the, has anybody ever seen pictures of Bali? It's beautiful, but these are the pictures you see, right? But it was one of those books that the entire time I was reading it, I just kept shaking my head yes, yep, know what that is, yep. That you feel like you're part of, that maybe you could have hung out with that person, that character. And in this case, it's a memoir, so the character is an actual person, so it's one of those, hey, Elizabeth Gilbert, let's hang out sometime, tell me stories. So yeah, it's a great read. It's good. I would highly recommend it if you've never read it. I heard from, it's funny because carrying around this book for a week, because it took me about a week to read, people kept telling me their opinion of it. So I got one person that said they really liked this part of it, and another person that said they couldn't even get through it. I was waiting in my doctor's office for an appointment, and her nurse came in and was just, oh my god, best book ever. What part are you on? Isn't it great? It made me feel so many things. I loved it so much. And I wholeheartedly agreed with her. I was like, I really love this book. I like, it's in here with me right now because I don't want to put it down. And then she basically said she would stall the doctor so I could finish because I was literally like 3 parts to the end. So I probably had like 10 pages left. And then when my doctor came in, she had said that she had lost her way in it when they got to Indonesia, that she couldn't get through that part. And I said that part seemed to be the part that was a little. I don't know how to describe it. It's not that it's slow. It's just like maybe it's just more content, more things to read. It's different. When you're reading the book, there's a whole thing about. Basically, when you're reading like Italy, it's easy to get caught up in the fantasy of it because you've heard of Italy so much. Because everything's going to Italy and just eating pasta and gelato and wandering around and seeing all the gorgeous mountains and scenery and just Italy. And you hear about Italy all the time. It's not uncommon, I guess. It's not an uncommon territory or an uncommon setting for a story at all. I mean, look at how many books are written in Italy. Specifically, look at how many books are written in like disappearing in Italy, like Under the Tuscan Sun, for an example. So I think that part is like really easy to get through because you're already used to what you're talking about, the setting and stuff. The second part of the book, which is the prey part, she's in an ashram in India, so that's a little more which the setting wise, I mean, it's a little less common, not a lot. I mean, I'm sure if you've ever read about yogic culture and stuff like that, you've probably heard a lot about India and Sanskrit and retreats and stuff that take place there. So it's not totally uncommon, but it's not something you're used to reading all the time. So, and I think the India part, because it was so it was submersive, it was all in one place because it was all taking place in this ashram because that's where she is. So you end up in the India part just really submersing yourself as a reader in that setting and what it would be like to be somewhere where you're having a spiritual awakening in that kind of setting, and you get used to within like the first few pages where she is and the transition to where she's at now. I think when it gets to Indonesia, because it's so different all the time, meaning that Indonesia is not something I know a lot about. I would say where she is, which is Bali. Like I've heard of Bali. I've seen really pretty pictures of beaches. Like I don't think I know anything else, honestly. And I think that part might have just been more difficult to get through for the simple fact that it's not as well known, I suppose. Like it's, unless you're like a world traveler, I guess. Which obviously she is, but I think that's what it is. I think that's maybe how, knowing that some people said that that's where they either just gave up on the book or just didn't really get through it. Although I really wish they did, and I would definitely suggest that you give it a full read, like from beginning to end, because I feel like it comes full circle. And the next book I finished in March was Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh. This is probably one of the funniest websites ever. It's hilarious. And a lot of the strips that she does get, they get separated into like those little stickers and the little screenshots you see that go all over like Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. She's really funny. She writes from a very real perspective, I guess is the way to put it. I think that specifically there's an entire chapter, well, no, there's two chapters in here that are talking about depression, and anyone who's been there, that's been in that place where it's that really weird dark hole you can't get out of, the way that she writes it, even the illustrations are perfect. It's exactly how you feel. It's that, and it's nice to see it written in a way that's not really like a woe is me. It's more a what the hell is happening right now. It's fun. It's really funny. I actually I picked this book up at Books A Million in their bargain book section, and it was part of their like spring bargain books they had. I actually bought a lot of books, but that's a whole different thing. And I brought it home and I read it I started reading it that night, just to take a break from one of the other books I was reading because it was really heavy read, and ended up reading it the next morning, like within an hour I finished the book. It's really fun. Hyperbole and a half, like this is literally the illustrations that are in it, these two lovely characters. This is her dog, and that's her. Oops. Okay, if I can learn how to point here. Here we go. That's her. There we go. And I love that the title of this is actually, it's Hyperbole and a Half. Unfortunate situations, flawed coping mechanisms, mayhem, and other things that happened. And I'm going to read the back of the book to you for the same thing, because it's just super funny. And if you haven't heard of Hyperbole and a Half, this is going to make you want to go out and buy it, because it's so funny. And like I said, I got this bargain Books A Million, and it's a brand spanking new hardcover. So, this is a book I wrote. Because I wrote it, I had to figure out what to put on the back cover to explain what it is. I tried to write a long third-person summary that would imply how great the book is, and also sound vaguely authoritative, like maybe someone who isn't me wrote it. But I soon discovered that I'm not sneaky enough to pull it off convincingly. Some might say the book is full of stories. It could be claimed that this has more pictures than the dictionary. It's a great book! So I decided to just make a list of things that are in the book. Pictures, words, stories about things that happened to me, stories about things that happened to other people because of me, $8 billion, asterisks. Stories about dogs, the secret to eternal happiness, asterisks. Following the asterisks. These are lies. Perhaps I have underestimated my sneakiness. It's just like that, just in its own right. It's super fun. If you've ever seen the website, it does justice. There's some things in here that are that have been on the website before. There's a couple of them that I recognized. Other than that, they're like all new, and it's super fun. And actually, when I brought it home and it was sitting on the table, my mom saw this part. You see how colorful it is? She was like, "That book looks so fun because it's so pretty." Because each chapter is a different color, background's a different color. So they're like that. Super fun. And I finished this book, and like I do with most books, I've touched on it before that I just said it a second ago. I don't keep books. I read books once, and typically they then go on my book mooch or off to a friend. And in this case, I finished reading it and put it right on my book mooch because our book is. So I put it on book mooch, and 20 minutes later, somebody requested it. So hey, so this one will be going out in the mail probably the end of the week. But yeah, so I finished that book, and it's pretty awesome. It's a really good book. I liked it a lot. Lots of giggle fits. I definitely found myself just laughing out loud. Like, my God, this is like heavy reading. And I think it's my own fault because I've been reading a lot of, I want to say fluffier. That sounds awful. As a writer, I would be pissed if somebody said my writing was fluffy. But the next book I finished this month was Wicked by Gregory Maguire. And this counted as my green on a cover for the Read-A-Rama challenge. And pretty green pages. Kind of fun. Mass market paperback. I'll have these weird colored pages. I liked it. I felt like it took forever to get through. It's a little over 500 pages. It's not a huge book, but it felt like a huge book. And yeah. But Gregory Maguire is very wordy. It's actually, a friend of mine said that was her problem with him, that he just took 20 pages to say what you could say in 20 words. And well, this one's dirty, but that's okay. There's illustrations for each section of the book. Super fun and pretty. I wonder who his illustrator is. Because I think it's the same illustrator for like all of his books. You tell me somewhere, right? Cover art by Wicked LLC. Well, that doesn't help me. Yeah, so I don't know. But whoever does this, the artwork in here, it's beautiful. I'm not really sure who does. Oh, right there. Douglas Smith. Okay, so the illustrations are by Douglas Smith. Like, they're beautiful. I mean, like, right up to this. If you've seen the other version of this book, it has this cover. Actually, the hardcovers have it like that. The mass market paperbacks have these covers, and I actually really like the fact that the pages are green. And I was looking at Books A Million the other day when I was there. I was trying to find the other books. I was going to pick them up if they were of a price I could afford at the time, which I spent so much money at the end of it. I probably should just pick them up anyway. But bargain books get you. But the other one, mass market paperbacks, also have cool colors. Like the next book has red pages, and the one after that has orange pages. The last book in the series isn't in mass market paperback. I don't know, but whatever. It's written. Gregory Maguire has a really interesting narrative style. In the first, I want to say the first like 6 chapters I read, or pieces, or whatever. I don't know. The first couple hundred pages, I was like reading, going, okay, I like this, but what are you doing, dude? That it's broken up in like a standard, I guess a more standard narrative. I don't even know how to say it. I've never seen a narrative flip flop in who is your actual narrator more than I have in this book. There's parts where, specifically in the earlier parts, where the person speaking is the mother, Melina, right? Crap, I'm not looking it up. I'm pretty sure that was her name. She's only in the beginning. That she's speaking, and then it swaps to the father, Frex, is speaking, and like it's the actual narrator. It's not just the dialogue, it's the person who's telling you the story or what's happening. So you're consistently getting put into somebody else's body, I guess is the word, but yeah, you're getting put into their body, and you're hearing the story from their point of view. But it's really weird because it's like 2 paragraphs of that person, and then it switches to this person, and then I'm sitting there going, wait, who is this? Oh, okay, all right, that's fine. And it could just be me, I don't know. But when I was reading it, I kept going, oh, you keep swapping. I don't know if I like this or not. And at times I was kind of like, what is going on? What are we doing, Mr. McGuire? What are you up to? But by the like halfway through this book, I really want to plow through this book. I want to read it so fast, but it's so wordy and so heavy. I can't. I'll read like 100 pages and then kind of have to pause and take a minute and do something else, which is actually why the readathon's working out really well for it, because it's allowing me pauses. I really, really enjoy the book. I want very much to read the rest of the series. I think it's going to be really interesting. The next book I finished was book 6 in the Amulet series. Awesome. If you're not reading these, you should. It's a graphic novel series. It's great. Amulet series, it's about a girl named Emily who, if I remember right, out of a family heirloom, I think, gets an amulet, which is it's basically a necklace, and it ends up having this voice that comes with it, and they call them the stone keepers, people that have these particular necklaces, and it takes her on this insane journey that, I mean, by the end of book 1, you're already hooked anyway. This book that I read is actually the 6th book in the series, Escape from Lucian, which is like an elf kingdom, and it's just, it's insane. I can't really go into too much of it, or it's totally going to spoil the whole thing, but I would suggest, if you're looking for a graphic novel that's a really simple, like maybe an hour or so out of your day kind of read, that it's a really good one to go for, because it's really good. My niece turned me onto it, and I've been addicted ever since. I actually asked her, because she bought it, the newer one, if I could borrow it. I was like, can I borrow that now? Because I need to read a graphic novel for one of the like 52 reading challenges I'm doing this year, and I just really wanted to read the next one on that. So, awesome book, loved it. The next one I finished this month was a suggestion from a friend, and it is Briar Rose by Jane Yolen. Jane Yolen? Yes, Jane Yolen. This book, wow is the best way to describe it. Just wow. It's at the bare minimum here. Briar Rose. I don't know if you remember your Disney fairy tales, but Briar Rose is what they called Sleeping Beauty. It was like a nickname for her, I think, if I remember right. So Briar Rose is the story of Sleeping Beauty. In this novel, it's actually set with the backdrop of the Holocaust. Right? That's already intrigued, right? Reading that book, it should be on that list of must-reads that they give you when they teach you the Holocaust in school. Because when you're learning about the Holocaust, like they usually, I know at least the schools that I went to, you get Diary of Anne Frank when you're like in middle grades, like middle school and such. And then Night happens in like high school and college. And those are really good, obviously, because they're true tales and they're great. I feel like Briar Rose is one of those that's just the way that they explain those two are obviously different because they're true stories. Since obviously Anne Frank and Eli Wiesel were part of the Holocaust, in the Holocaust. This is a fictional tale, but the facts about it, like the actual concentration camp and extermination camps that they talk about, are real things. It has actual real data in the back about what happened in those places and the spots in Poland they're talking about and things like that. And I just feel like it paints a slightly different picture for people that may have gone through the Holocaust, and it's a different spot. It's a different thing than what you usually hear. But I really do. I feel like it should be just thrown in that must read. If you want to know about the Holocaust, here are some things for you to read. It's a really beautiful book. It's somehow ended with me smiling, which just seems ridiculous in a book that's about the Holocaust. In a book that was like, just, there's so much death in it. Like, there just is, because that's what happens when you read about the Holocaust, unfortunately. But it was really good, and I would definitely recommend it if you haven't read it yet, because I know I had never even heard of it until she handed it to me. So, lovely, lovely. I finished another book. I'm reading a lot this month. Book I finished, I actually got this book and read it within a couple of hours, because it's little. So this is Ethnic Exams, The Very Best Totally Wrong Test Answers. It's compiled by Richard Benson, and it's actually a collection of exactly what it sounds like. It's just a bunch of terrible answers to questions, and some of them are just so, like, you read it and you wonder, are these BS answers because they didn't know the question on the test? Because I was guilty of doing that a lot. It was really good at the clever BS answers. Or was it, I really hate this teacher, so I don't care what I write? Or is it that they actually think that these are real answers to the question? I don't know. It was really fun. I liked it. It's not a substantial read, but it's a fun book, and it made me laugh. I chuckled a lot while I was reading it, and I would definitely suggest it for anybody that likes stuff like that. It's just a good silly read. It didn't, like I said, it took me maybe an hour. I think that's because I stopped to eat dinner. It was good though. It was good stuff. Liked it. I just finished listening to the audio version of Coraline by Neil Gaiman. It's actually, you can go to his website and they have videos. It's 13 different videos of either him or there's other authors like Sandra Clare and Holly Black. And there's also some actresses like Veruja Balk and some other people reading chapters of the book. It was really interesting, really fun. It's actually reorganizing my bookshelves, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I can listen to an audiobook while I do that. And my niece really loves that book, and I saw the movie. I liked the movie. I didn't hate the movie or anything. It was good. It creeped me out a little. It did, because people with button eyes are weird to look at, and it was a little creepy. I mean, if you've ever seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a little creepy. Successfully creepy. It's supposed to be creepy. And yeah, I liked the movie. So I was interested in reading the book, and my niece told me the book was really good, that she really liked the book, and it was better than the movie. So I listened to that, and it was a really good audiobook. I haven't, interesting hearing other people read it, and it was really interesting just to have that particular story read, I guess, because I think it brings something to a story, specifically when it's one that has like more of a creepy aspect when you can hear it.
Hi! So, the next book I finished in March, and I have read a lot this month. At least I feel like I have. This one took me a little longer to get through. It probably only took me like a little over a week, but it just felt like it did. But it's over 500 pages to move as well. And it's a Twilight book. I love the Twilight movies. I really do. And I read all the books in the actual series, like the saga, the 4 books. I read those. And first one I loved, and then like after that it kept losing me, but I read them all because I really wanted to read the whole series. But I haven't picked up a book that's of the Twilight saga or by Stephenie Meyer since. because I just felt like for some reason like her writing took me so long to get through, and I just kept having like editor brain where I was like, oh, I would have taken out like 50 pages here. So that's just me, and it's being a writer, and holy crap, it just got really bright. It's not brightness. Hi. That's cool, right? Whatever, we'll go with it. So anyway, my niece just got into the movies a year ago, and she wanted to read the books because her friends are reading them. She's 13, and it's the perfect time to be reading them. And so I got her the first book, and then I was out shopping for the rest of the books, kind of just collecting them where I was finding them. And I actually, just a heads up, if you're looking for Twilight, go to your local Goodwill, because my local Goodwill had an entire shelf of Twilight books. A whole shelf. And they were like from $1 to $3 for each one. And I was like, holy crap, I paid like $15 a piece for these. But anyway, so I ended up getting her the rest of that. But in my little like run of looking for Twilight stuff, I found this little beauty. So this is the Twilight Saga, the official illustrated guide, also by Stephanie Meyer. So this is essentially, it's like your cheat sheet to Twilight, I guess is the way to put it. It's really neat though. I really enjoyed it. It was a really interesting read, especially being so many years since I read the books. Because I really liked the characters. Like, I don't want anybody to get me wrong here. They're not the worst books I've ever read in my life or anything like that. They aren't the best books either. As an entire series, not my favorite. If I was to take individual books out of it, great. And either way, I feel like she made these really individual, interesting, and original characters. I don't think I ever saw a vampire that way before, or even a werewolf, or anything like that. Like even the psychic abilities like Alice has, I always thought were really fascinating and stuff like that. So, and just the character of Arrow is hilarious to me, and the fact that they did him so well in the movie is still fantastic to me. That's just me and my own thing. So this book, I started flipping through it just to see if it was worth getting. It was at Books A Million in their bargain book section where they have like a mass of like books you probably never heard of but should be buying, or like, that's how I always put it. Like, I'm always like, oh hey, I feel like I know that author from somewhere. $2, sure, I'll take it home. Or it's like the third in a series that you've been looking for years that suddenly is $2. Like, go figure. Like, I got the last time I was there, in the bargain books, I actually bought Cinder and Scarlet from the Lunar Chronicles for $3 each, and I was like, for real? Like, it just, because that struck me as so weird for the simple fact that everyone seems to love that series. So the fact that they would have like some kind of, just because I'm a retail kid, usually things that go into bargain sections or resale values and stuff, when they go down like that is because they have like an overstock. And I was like, there's no way in hell they have an overstock. Like, everybody buys these books, but whatever. I don't care. I got it for $3, so it makes me happy. So this was like, I think it was like $5, which, yeah, it's $17.99 UK, it says. Perhaps that's an actually, it's UK on the back too, so this is apparently a UK version of this. Go figure. I don't know. Let me see if I can find one. I started looking at it, and I got to, and if you follow me on Instagram, you already saw this picture, because I was like, oh, these illustrations are so awesome. But I got to, I had flipped it open, and I got to one of these, which, it's a little too bright. Oh, there we go, you can see it. So this is Victoria. This is an illustration of her. And I was like, oh my god, these illustrations are gorgeous. And actually, I even like the pictures they had. Like these are, each section is divided by like a really nice glossy picture. And then, so they have, basically the book has a background on each group. So there's vampires, werewolves, and then humans in it. And then it's like other random characters that are in there, stuff like that. The human section, I was actually like, who are these people? Because I remember Charlie, I remember Bella, I remember her friends. Like, and there are things in here. It was really funny. So there's the whole beginning of it, first, like, I think it's like 20 pages or so, is an interview with, well, a conversation with, it's an interview with Stephanie Meyer. About the books, about writing them, about like what her favorites were, that kind of stuff. Pieces where like it breaks it down by character in like alphabetical order in each one. So it's like you're reading all of Edward's backstory, you get all of Carlisle's backstory. It was really fascinating to read that part, because I was like, oh, that's why you're so weird about like some people. Things that I learned reading this. Did you know the Volturi had wives? I don't remember the Volturi having wives. I don't remember that at all. I don't remember there being extra people in Jasper's coven. I only remember, like, his original coven, like, the one with the crazy chick in Mexico or whatever, when he's, like, a soldier. And, like, I remember that. The backstory had things that, like, you remember reading, and then it had things that were like, oh, okay, that's neat. Like, Esme jumped off a cliff. That's how Esme died. That's why Carlisle saved her. Because she was depressed. Really? Same thing. Look how cool Alice is. Want to know why her hair's short? Because she was in a mental institution. Yeah, somebody put her there because they thought she was crazy. Right? Things I learned reading this. Like, it's been so long since I read, and I can't find Esme now. It's been so long since I've read the series that it does. There's Esme. Look at Esme. Look how young she is. I'm trying to get this out of the super sun. Oh, there we go. The super sunlight. Look how young she is. I'm reading it going, she's what? She was 26 when she was transformed, and I'm going, I didn't realize she was. I really thought she was older than that. Same thing with Carlisle. Like, he's super young. Maybe it's just because in my head I see all the actors more than I see the people. But it was really interesting because looking at pictures here, some of them I was like, that's what they were supposed to look like. Because I remember when I saw the first movie, and then I read the book. I had the book for years, but I never read it. So I saw the first movie, and then I read the book. And when I read the book, I was like, well, these people don't look right. You casted weird. And there's also, and I already know this wrap-up is going to be gigantic because I can't stop talking about the books I'm talking about, but I don't really feel like doing separate reviews for them. So this is Jacob. Yep. That's Jake. I don't even see him looking like that in my head when I read the book. I don't know about you. Like, I felt like Taylor Lautner was pretty spot on. This dude looks a lot older. Like, I'm going, he don't look no like 16 years, 18 even. Like, he looks old. That's just me. He almost looks like a Barbie doll. But anyway, so it has like all that stuff, which is really interesting. I was really excited to read in the werewolf part about Leah because I felt like in the movie you got barely anything about Leah. In the book you got a little more, but I still wanted like more stuff. She was one of those characters I always thought should have been better developed. Just personally because I liked her. So it was kind of cool. That was cool to read. I actually like all the backstories and stuff. I thought that was really interesting. And as a writer, you don't often get to tell your backstory for your characters. Usually people just take them at face value and they forget that you spend all this time creating a character. You probably have a full backstory for them. So yeah, it was kind of cool. And I bet Stephanie Meyer liked that part too, being able to do that. So look how pretty. How pretty. This is so fun. Like, if you collected the Twilight Saga and you're get this book because this is really good for that. Just because it's really pretty. I like that the whole thing was carried through to the your your design, like your cover art and stuff. You know how they always have the swirlies and the weird font and whatever. Like, it's full on through here, so it has all the swirls and the red and the white and the black and all that stuff and the font thing. It's very pretty. Personally, if you don't want to read the books, but you want to get all the parts that you need to know, really weird, but if you go in this little origins and inspiration part, there's a whole timeline, which is like basically just Cliff's notes of what happened in the books. And then, if you go further into the key plot points, it literally has like all the little, it's Cliff notes. It's what you need to know what's happening in the book. So I would actually suggest in more for it. If you had read like the first couple books and then we're going back into reading it, you might want to check out the key plot points in this first for the other two to catch yourself up. It's kind of like a refresher. I was reading through it like, oh yeah, this is like all the really good parts in the last couple books. Oh, I found it really interesting too that originally it was supposed to be Twilight and Breaking Dawn and not the other two books in the middle. And then they were like, well, we need more stuff to happen in between before you just get to that part. So that's why the other two books existed. Interesting. I still feel like you probably could have taken all three of those books and made it one, but that's just me. Or taken like 2 and 2 and just made a duology. I don't know. I didn't write it. It's just my opinion. There's a car section in case you want to learn about the cars that were in it, which I was like, I didn't realize the cars were that prominent, but I guess they are. And then there's a whole inspiration section, which is pretty cool. I actually like, there's a whole section of playlist. So, and I was reading it going, oh my god, I can totally tell how that song, but it's different songs that she chose that fit in for each character or each part or something. She put a quote with it. That was kind of cool. But in the back of the book, it's the last thing in the book actually, there's the international cover gallery. So, for those of you on the BookTube that go and collect specific covers of books, which I totally understand, because sometimes they're like gorgeous and then they change it and you're like, what the? No. Being myself, and that I keep few books. I buy a lot of books. I read a lot of books. I keep few books because I'm not a rereader. It's just not something I do very often. So I only keep books that I intend to reread at some point. Otherwise, I like to hand them off to somebody else that might enjoy them. Just because otherwise they're just going to sit on the shelf and I'm not going to look at them again. Unless I'm so in love with the book that I can't give it up. Like, I've done that before. I've kept the book for years and been like, it's so... you should really just... Indonesia had the best covers, I think. So, personally, these are boring. That's, again, everything on this thing is my opinion. Like, for real. Like, that's what I'm here for. That's what YouTube is. Calm down. Don't yell at me. Or yell at me. We can have a debate if you want to. I don't really care. But this whole thing, boring. It's black and red and white, and it's boring. Like, I did chess piece, rose, whatever. And then everyone else did the same cover afterwards. Like, people were buying it for the... As far as I know, nobody bought Twilight for the covers. Like, they weren't fun. Especially not the ones we had here. So, here being the United States, I'm assuming that I should probably explain that, I suppose. Hi. Northeast here, hello. So anyway, flipping through here though, I got to Indonesia and I was like, dude, if I ever buy these books again and was gonna keep them, I would get these just because they're gorgeous. Look at these. Do you see this? Look how pretty. They're gorgeous. Indonesia had it right, man. I want them. I love them. They're beautiful. That's so gorgeous. I feel like these in poster form, I would just hang on my wall. Like, they're so pretty. So Indonesia, you had Twilight covers right. Like, they're gorgeous. Whoever designed those, you're awesome. Does it even tell me who designed those? Illustrator is Dianing Rattry. I don't know. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but you're awesome and you did really good illustrations. So, yeah. Seriously, those are awesome. So, anybody that's collecting for cover art, rebuy your Twilight from Indonesia. Because there are certain authors that when I read their books, it takes me forever to get through. Like, I don't know about you, but personally for me, the books that I read in a day tend to be ones that like I read all of the Harry Potter books in a day or maybe two. I think there was only one book. There's one book that took me almost a month to read, and that was just because I was reading it when I was still in high school, and it just was taking me a while to get through with everything else. It was like my senior year of high school, if I remember right. But after that, every single book, I bought it the day it came out. I read it within 2 days. And that was, based on I had to work or whatever, but it was the priority in life was to read the Harry Potter books when they came out. And like books like that, it was just because I was so fascinated with the story that I needed to know what happened next, and I needed to know now before anybody else spoiled me, because that was a huge giant thing when the Harry Potter books came out. I actually have you're a Twilight Saga fan and you have not read this yet, I would definitely suggest reading it because it's really interesting. I like it, and it actually has me. I got the novella, what is it? The Second Life or Brief Second Life of Bree Tanner. Is that what it's called? The little baby one of the cute girl that turns into a vampire and dies a minute later. Poor kid. So I got that one because again, my niece is now into Twilight and wants to read them, so I figure she should read the whole thing. So I wanted to get that for her too, because I had read all 4 of the books. When I got down to the 4th one, I was so irritated with it that I just didn't want to read anymore. So I haven't picked up a Twilight related book in years. I want to say like 5 years. It's been a while. So reading this one just kind of made me want to read another Twilight-y book. So when that one comes, because it's on its way for my niece's book club, when that comes, I'm gonna steal it and read it before I put it in there. Yeah. Hi. Hello. This is my massive wrap up. I'm saying this only because I've read a lot of books in March. Wow, I'm wearing no jewelry. This is really unheard of, but I'm ready for a workout. I'm like in workout gear. I feel like I do most of these in my workout gear, so it would be really weird for people. I live, just so you know, I live in the northeast of the United States, which is freezing right now, even though it's March, because we don't know how to have spring anyway here. We rarely have spring weather. Our spring weather is like 50 degrees and kind of sunny, which is actually what it is today, which is why I'm standing right here and you can see me with no additional light needed because it's sunny out today. Lovely. So Yeah. So if you be in like a tank top, like right now I'm in a tank top and shorts. This is not my normal gear. This is my workout gear. And I'm actually going to do a workout quite soon. So, but I finished my book, so I want to finish my book and then do this, and then I'll do my workout and stuff. So just throwing it out there. Like, it's March, and I don't dress like this on a normal basis. When I go outside, I'm in a sweater and some jeans or leggings or boots, or I'm wearing much warmer clothes because I'm not crazy. Insight or feedback for what I'm talking about for the different books that I'm reading, definitely share it below. Absolutely, if you have recommendations, I love recommendations. I live off recommendations. It's why I'm addicted to BookTube, because I love recommendations. It's so fun to, for somebody to just be like, oh, and this book is great because blah, blah, blah. Oh, that sounds fun. I'm going to get it. So I have a massive Amazon wish list, and juxtaposition with it is my book list for the same reason, because I love recommendations, so I'm always adding to my list. I cannot get enough books. Like, if you read like a really awesome book this month, let me know what it was, because maybe I want to read it. And if in watching this, like one of the ones I was talking about that I really liked, you have a suggestion for one that I might like because I like that one, absolutely put it below. Tell me. I like comments. I like recommendations. I'm all for it. Yay! If you like this video, click the little likey button, little thumbs up, because that'll be fun. And if you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and subscribe. All suggestions on the kind of videos you want to see. Do you want to see what books I've actually kept and have in a little box in your room? Are you curious about my opinion on other series or whatever? I don't know. If you've made it this far, I just want to say a huge thank you, and you're awesome, because I know this was really long. And trust me, I edited the crap out of this. I took so much part where I am literally just making the weirdest noises and doing things that I do, which is dancing in between stuff, and my clock kept going off, and it was it's just really funny. But anyway, if you made it this far, I figure I should put in one of those really random parts. So enjoy me talking about bookmarks. Definitely, leave a comment down below about videos you want to see, or what the best book was you read in March, or whatever you want to talk about. All right, cool. In the videos too, you might so this is the thing. Random fun fact about me and my reading. I have a lot of bookmarks. I'm sure you do too. Speaking of, oh my god, have you gone to Crafted Van? Does anybody go to Crafted Van on Etsy? Please do. I will show you in my next one, probably my cute little. Actually, I'll show you my. I know some people. If you've ever watched Little Book Owl, I don't know if you do. You should though. She's fun. I like her. Her and like Benjamin Tomes. They talk about bookmarks and swag and stuff a lot. So I love bookmarks. I've always liked bookmarks since I was like a little kid. I used to make them when I was little. I used to get them all the time. I collected them for a really long time. So I have tons of bookmarks. Big stack of them. And I like finding different ones and stuff. I also like to buy bookmarks for other people. Like, I do it all the time. My niece probably has like 10 or so. She's bought them for me for gifts. Like, I mean, like, it's a thing. Bookmarks are fun. I don't know about you, but if you like to read, I'm sure you're into bookmarks. So, and I'm not sure if you'll see it. You'll probably see it in my videos sometimes just because of the way I pick up a book. It usually has the bookmark on it. So I have all these bookmarks, but I don't like to neglect them. I don't like to use just one all the time. So to have fun, I rotate the bookmarks I'm using. And so each book that I read, I always grab a different bookmark. If it's a physical book, obviously. If it's an ebook, I'm stuck with the one on there. But so yeah, this is so fun. So the one I just used, I just looked at it too. It had a signature, by the way, down here, but it's like worn off. But this is from a book drive I did, and that there is Tyler Hilton, who's a fantastic singer-songwriter, and he's also an actor. So, but he had a book drive for his. He has had a charity. I don't know if it's still around, but it's Tyler Hilton Books for Kids, and it's a book drive for just schools that need more books. I think, if I remember right. And I had sent them, so they sent me this cool bookmark that has like a little logo on the back, and it had a signature, and it said thank you. It's kind of hard to read now, but it had a date on it at one point too, if I remember right. But it's from April 2008. It's kind of cool. But anyway, so speaking of bookmarks, though, in the BookTubers, can I call it that? Sure. Speaking of Little Book Owl, she was talking about Crafted Van and their cute little magnetic bookmarks. And I was like, oh my god, they're adorable. So I went and looked at them. And then I think like 4 or 5 other people that I follow based on BookTube, either on Instagram or otherwise, have crafted van bookmarks. And they're these cute little magnetic bookmarks. So I had to buy some because I like reading and I like bookmarks. And look how cute they are. Do you see them? Here, let me put them nice in. See, they're cute they're little robots. Aren't they nice? And specifically, I picked the robots because I don't know about you. Huge Invader Zim fan. Love Invader Zim. Hate Nickelodeon for canceling it. Hate that I can't find it on DVD anywhere either for less than like $60, by the way. So, hey, link down below if you know where I can get Invader Zim on DVD. Not super expensive, okay? Let me know. Anyway, so I picked this one because, first of all, robots are cute anyway. And these are cute little mini robots. But this one right here, do you see him? See how cute he is? He looks like Gurr. All I could pick up was he's like a little Gurr. So anyway, so that's my little random fun fact. Totally a little tangent there. I also like the fact that Crafted Van does the back. I find that really fascinating that they didn't just leave it. You know, you get a bookmark and like the front's gorgeous, then you flip it over and it's blank on the back. I hate that. I like the fact that this one has a logo on the back too. I like 360. You know, that's what you do. I'm a baker, and when you learn cake, I'm a baker. And when you learn cake decorating, you learn 360 design. Like you're supposed to decorate from all things in case somebody's on the other side of the cake. So it's one of those things. So, but yeah, that's my little random side note. The little things are so cute. I have to buy more too. Crafted Van, I am officially addicted to you. You are adorable. I absolutely love the little package it came in, and I like the little card it came with, and I was just so excited. And they have so many fun ones. I will definitely be buying more stuff from them. And I'm gonna have to get my niece some too, just because they have one that looks like Anna from Frozen, and she likes Anna. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about my bookmark addiction. Yeah.